Namaste. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shirade Vrindavaneshri Vrishabhanuste Devi Pranamami Hari. Kalpatarudrasya Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Ashadradeshakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Once again, thank you for joining us today in our Bhagavad Gita discussion. So today we are starting with something really interesting from the perspective of the dynamics of our logistic of our program. So we have started the Zoom as well at the same time. Now that doesn't mean that is discouragement for people who wants to just sit back at home and relax and hear it in a very comfortable environment. Just so you know that here also we have kept the environment quite comfortable. It is a AC hall. So we highly encourage everybody to come in person, but we also understand it is a Kali Yuga that we are living in, where everyone somehow or other being distracted by the different priorities in life and cannot make it in person. So the whole reason of making this online as well at the same time, the reason behind that is we don't want you to miss out on a very, very important wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, which can actually help you navigate in your life. Because I personally feel when I was going through this verses and preparing that what I was going to share, I was very excited that wow, this Bhagavad Gita has an amazing wisdom, and if everyone can just learn the Bhagavad Gita in a very systematic way, learn the Bhagavad Gita in a way that Arjuna learned from Krishna. If you do that, then what will happen is it will become a better version of yours. You'll be very, very happy to know that you will be seeing yourself, that how your life has evolved, from where you were. Once there was a disciple and a guru asked him that, can you just fetch a water in this basket? And this basket was a black color basket. And generally basket you have seen, right? It has holes, right? So disciple said, "Abhi Guru ne bola hai, kyun argument karne ka? Theek hai, abhi bola hai to we'll just do it." So there was a river bank nearby. He used to go to the river, fill the water in it, and then used to come back. While he came to Guru's ashram back, he saw that practically hardly any water left in it. Right? Now Guru asked him to do this for almost 6 months. It's not about 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Guru asked him to do that for almost 6 months. And after that, that disciple lost it. disciple says, enough is enough. My guru has gone crazy. He doesn't understand. Maybe old age has really picked on him. And I really need to, say that enough is enough. I'm not going to fetch water anymore because it is not holding it. There is no point in bringing it here. What is the point? Right? So he decided, goes to the Guru and says to Guru that I'm not going to do this seva anymore. Guru says, why? Because it is not holding the water and the purpose is not being served. What you are asking? He said, really? Look at the basket. He said, okay, let me look at the basket. He looked at the basket. He says, do you see any change in the basket? He says, no. He said, really? He said, look at the basket again. Which color it was? Oh, yeah, it was a black color. So which color is now? It's a white color. So he was surprised what happened, right? And he said that, okay, just go to the route that you were trying to fetch the water. So he went to the route and he says, do you remember what was this route that you were coming, how it was and how it is now? So when he looked at it with the attention, he realized that there were nice flower plants grew on both the sides of the road where he was going. Earlier it was completely barren. There was nothing there. But now he sees that on both the sides the nice flowering plants grew up, right? And the basket is completely clean. So Guru explained that many a times when we read Bhagavad Gita, when we go through the study of Bhagavad Gita, we feel अरे कुछ change नहीं हो रहा है. Even रिक्शा वाला भी अपने को पता के चला जाता है. क्या प्रभु जी कंठी माला पहने और ऐसा कर रहे हो? So many things happens. But little that they know that our black heart has slowly but surely started to turn into the real color. All the darkness, all these vices of this black dirt that we have in terms of anger, lust, greed, illusion, pride, all these things are going slowly but surely. And the nice, what are those flowering plants? That how you respond to the different situations is going to be really, really amazing. So don't think that Bhagavad Gita is just another thing and I just went there and I don't see. No, if you just look back, you have become a better version of yours. That's what we are trying to get people, right? And everyone is trying to change the mobile. Why? Because they want to go to the better version of the mobile, right? What is there in the better version? More features, right? More stability, more secure. Similarly, our better version is also going to be the same, right? Better features of ourselves. It's not that we're going to become beautiful. We're not going to become Mr. India or Miss Universe, right? But internally, we'll become very beautiful. So that is the whole reason that we want everyone to take this Bhagavad Gita very, very seriously. And last time also we have discussed that we will not repent of coming to the Bhagavad Gita because you have learned the most important aspect yesterday about the aspect of mind, right? And if you do not mind our mind, then the mind will take us to the wonderful ride of distraction. And we will not even realize that where we are. Seriously, I'm telling you. I can say for myself, I'm now 51 years old. I feel that 51 years gone just like that. I still remember that, I was going to the college, I was doing all kinds of nonsense things. And here I am, trying to teach somebody Bhagavad Gita. What Krishna does is miraculous. What Krishna does is amazing. Only thing is we have to have a faith in him and we have to make an endeavor to know about him, to learn about him, which is wonderfully given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So does anybody remember what did we discuss last time? I know that's the most boring question you ever hear in the class, but after we'll move on, right? Mind being a friend or an enemy. Mind being a friend or an enemy, right? So we learned about mind being so much about the enemy, and then we also talked about how a mind can be turned into the friend. Does anybody remember the 5 steps that we discussed? Tapa, okay. Sattva, very good. Vidya, very good. Seva, And the most important, mantra. Very good, right? So if you remember like this, it will be very. It's not just about remembering. So if we are going to learn about jnana and vijnana also today. So I'm very happy that you recollected. It gives me a lot of pleasure that whatever we are discussing, some part is staying with us. And believe me, this is going to help you when you go through the life. Says Gaur Gopal Prabhu says, don't go through the life, grow through the life. Right? So that is what is going to happen with Bhagavad Gita. You will not just simply go through life. Many people just go through life and at the end realize what did I do with my life? So better grow through life. Every situation is there for us to grow. Sometimes the challenging situations comes and we become like that, right? So let me just continue a little bit before we get to the today's verse, because I was further reflecting on the aspect of the mind. It was quite interesting. The more you reflect, the more you actually come to the terms that this mind is such an amazing thing. And also, does anybody remember where does mind stay? Neighbor's house, Valkeshwar, where does the mind stay? Nepean Sea Road. Subtle body. There are two types of body, right? Physical and the subtle body. That is a very, very important thing. So remember where mind lives. Okay. And mind does not leave you even after death. This body will leave you. Have you seen, right? या तो हम जला देते हैं या तो दफना देते हैं या तो पता नहीं. There are some people they give it to the birds also. Right? So the body is not going to stay with you. We are all spirit souls. We are Atma. We are not this body. That's a very basic instruction that Bhagavad Gita gives. And that basic instruction itself takes a hell lot of time for us to even realize it. That I am not this body and the spirit soul. In fact, I'll tell you, if you realize that you're a spirit soul, you are not 99, 100% problems are solved of this life. If you just realize you are not this body and you are actually start living your life, right? So I was just thinking about this aspect of mind, the physical body and the subtle body. So you have these mobile, right? Now let's say this mobile physically gets damaged. Can you operate it? Let's say screen gets cracked. Can you operate it? No. You can operate it. I've seen many times. Your screen is completely cracked, but if it is working, you can operate it. ये पीछे का कवर टूट गया, बैटरी फिर भी इंटैक्ट है अंदर. Phone is, you can able to do phone calls, everything, it works absolutely fine. Yeah. Maybe touch screen may not happen or other things, but other things works. Right? But if I tell you that the operating system of this, the OS, Android or iOS, has malfunction, then will you be able to operate it? Not able to operate it. So what is the connection? The connection is if your physical body is damaged, still you will be able to function. But your inner software, what is that inner software? Is a subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Right? If your mind and intelligence are not in good shape, then you will not be able to function. You will not be able to function. Have you heard the Olympic of physically disabled people? There are person, I don't know, like somewhere I saw that interview, the person who was, I think he did not have any hands and he was playing, he's just legs. And Sachin Tendulkar meets him and appreciates him and things like that. So there is an Olympic for the physically disabled people. Have you ever seen an Olympic of a mentally retarded people? सितारे जमीन पे वो ला रहा है, भी देखेंगे अभी क्या है वो सितारे, but it's not possible. It's like he's trying to do something which is wonderful, but for a mentally retarded people you cannot. The reason behind that, when I'm talking about is mentally retarded, means absolutely mentally retarded people. Their system has completely gone crazy inside. And you know the reason behind that? Is person born mentally retarded? Very few. Have you seen people on the streets, specifically on the highways, with all this disheveled hair, disheveled clothes, and just roaming around aimlessly? Have you seen such people? So were they born like that? Have you ever tried to find out why did they become like this? Any guesses why they become like this? Trauma, good point. Trauma. What else? Exactly. There is nothing but the mind that they were not able to manage. It's as simple as that. That's why they got imbalanced completely. And there is a reason. After that, they cannot come back to the point. But there is a remedy I can tell you, where I have seen with my own eyes. On the way to Nigdi, Nigdi is just like in between Pune and Mumbai. Okay, so on the way to Nigdi, there is a Goshala. In that Goshala, this person is amazing. I somehow that I forget the name of the Goshala. This person gathers the people like this who are roaming like this, who are like they lost their mental balance. He brings them to his Goshala, and these people serve the cows. And I was amazed to see that. And that person said, the way they serve the cow, even the mentally stable person cannot serve the cow so meticulously. And by serving the cows, you know what is happening? They're regaining their mental health. And it actually happened in his own Goshala that one person regained his mental health, and then he was asked, like, where were you and who your family members are and all those things. And then they figured out, they call that number, the person comes in a Mercedes to pick that person. He was from a very, very rich family. So don't underestimate the blessings of the cows. The cows can do wonder in your life. And no wonder Krishna loves cows. Right? So there is a deep connection there. So what I was trying to make a point is, when your inner software is gone, there is nothing that you can do about it. Right? So that's why it is very, very important that we work on our mental hygiene. Right? It's very, very important. So I'm going to discuss a few more things on this wonderful aspect of the mind before we get to the today's verse, because I really felt that it is really wonderful. So there is a beautiful body one may have, but if that person does not have the beautiful mind, it doesn't make sense. Right? Once there was a Einstein and the most beautiful lady. They met on the flight, and then lady got an idea. Lady said to Einstein, "Hey Einstein, how about we get married? So that our child will be the most beautiful and the most brainy, the most intelligent person, right?" So Einstein said, "Yeah, that's a good idea, but think about it if it is vice versa. If he gets the beauty of mind and the brain of yours, then what's going to happen to that child, right?" So that's why it is very, very important that we understand what it is. And there's a wonderful saying that I came across is, like, we should not give up for something that we need the most in our life, for something feels really good now. There was actually an experiment done on the children, that they were given the marshmallow. You know what is marshmallow? It's like a chocolate. Okay. So they were told that, okay, I will give you this chocolate. If you hold on to this chocolate for another 1 hour, okay, I will give you one more chocolate. Choice is yours. You can eat it now also, but if you eat, then you will not get the second chocolate after 1 hour. So almost 98% children, they ate it immediately. 2% of the children, they did not eat and they waited. So for these children, they actually did a long research that what happens to their life. And those 2% of the children eventually becoming the leaders, eventually becoming the most successful people. Why? Because they were able to say no to the temptation. They were able to see what is they need the most, rather than what feels good now. Isn't it? That is what will become something that feels good now. And that is why I feel that the media can do so good. Media can do so good, but generally they do so bad, right? They do so bad. Media comes with the movie, कल किसने देखा है, कल क्या होने वाला है, अरे यार, every it's such a disastrous. During the Notebandi, who are the people holding the maximum number of money or the most money? Huh? Okay. And who is next? Any guess? Huh? Film stars. Okay. Next. Huh? Who? Sportsmen. Okay. Somebody said something. Housewives. हाउसवाइफ का किधर किधर से पैसा निकला, वो हस्बैंड भी चकरा के गिर गया बेचारा के, भाई तो इतना पैसा कहाँ से आया हमारे पास, इतना पैसा कहाँ से आया, गद्दे के नीचे से, वो पुराना कुकर पड़ा है किधर उसके अंदर से, ये वो किधर किधर से पैसा निकला. Now, is that system still on? Probably not. Probably not. Why? Because the way the media has come up, in those days there was no media. What was there? At that time, their lessons or their life lessons they have learned from their parents. जो भी है पैसा बचा के रखना काम आएगा. अभी व्हाट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट? जो पैसा नहीं है वो भी लेके खर्चा करो, क्रेडिट कार्ड, लोन ले लो, ये कर लो. And that's why a lot of people go under stress. Lots of stress. They have taken a flat, they have taken a car, they have taken the international vacation, everything is on loan, and the fellow loses job. Just imagine what will be his or her situation. Tremendous stress. Now they have to give up their car, they have to give up their home. It's crazy. It's crazy. So you have to don't give up the things that you need the most in your life for the things which feels good now. It's such an unfortunate thing how the mind works. Right? Pehle, all these rich people used to do their birthdays and all this haldi celebration and baby showers and this and that, everything gala thing, because they were the rich people, they were doing it, and middle class has no problem. No problem. Middle class was not at all worried. क्या है? Middle class अपना अपना छोटा मोटा बर्थडे कर देता था, बच्चे को बोलता था एक्लेट जाके दे दे बेटा, हो गया काम. अभी क्या हो रहा है? अरे फर्स्ट बर्थडे मतलब हॉल में ही होना चाहिए. फर्स्ट बर्थडे अगर हॉल में नहीं किया तो हमारा क्या होगा? How will I put a status on the Instagram? How will I put the status on the Facebook? क्या करूंगा मैं? Right? What is this? This is nothing but your mind is playing trick with you. What you really need, you have to figure it out. You don't have to become succumb to the things which has been created by the media. This is not yours. This is created by the media. Girl sees the in all these wonderful serials how haldi rasam is being done, how everyone comes in that same color dress and this and that, and how all the decorations and everything. Really? And they try to imitate, they try to feel that I really want to enjoy the same way. And somehow that they do it. And even if they don't feel like, they just make sure that the photographs comes like this at least. Right? How far we have come away from the reality? How far? Right? So it is very, very important that what is most important for us, we should focus on that rather than what feels good now. Now, this is a very interesting thing. Just see for yourself. Are you an observer or are you an absorber? Think about it. Raise your hand if you are absorber. How many of you think you are an observer? Very few, or very few times. Most of the time, we are just absorber. क्योंकि क्या है? चालू ही है वो. Whatever is being thrown at us, we just absorbing it, absorbing it, absorbing it. We are not even observing, we are not even questioning that why the hell is this on my screen? Why am I even looking at it? So we have just become an absorber. You have to become an observer. Then you'll be able to make a contribution to your life and someone else's life as well. Otherwise, if you just become an absorber, you will ruin your life and you will ruin others' life as well. Now, this statement I want you to focus on. It's a very interesting one. Detachment quiets the mind and discipline molds the mind. Detachment quiets the mind and discipline molds the mind. Can anybody throw some light on that? Why do you think it is said like this? Detachment quiets the mind, whereas discipline, we'll go to discipline later. Let's talk about detachment first. Detachment quiets the mind. Does that make sense? First of all, what is quieting the mind? Can anybody explain? If you have to quiet your mind, what does it mean? Withdrawing yourself, okay, good one.
Controlling the influence of desires, which is creating the noise in the internal state. I want to go there, I want this. So when you are too much attached to this material nature, we will listen more to the noise which is happening in the form of desires. But when you are detached, you don't want the fruit or whatever you don't really care about what you will get. That quiets matlab, that really makes the mind numb thoda, in some sense. Maybe it is the first step, like basically the second step, but detachment is the first step. Once your mind becomes calm, so it's just like water. When the water becomes clear, you get the reflection of who you are, and then basically you can choose where you have to go, what you have to take as a purpose or the road ahead. So first you have to detach yourself, and then it is the discipline that helps you to follow.
Yeah, very good about the detachment. Excellent thought process. So all of you also feel that your mind continues to make noise, or you feel that the mind is not making any noise? It does, right? It just chatters all the time. Chatters all the time. No, why did I come here? I should have gone there. Yeah, my friends are doing so much fun over there. And somehow their mind dragged me to this Bhagavad Gita class. I wish like there's a nice function there. They're going to have this dance on this Bollywood music and this and that. And here, again the boring thing on asking questions, answering this, that. What is this going on? Right. The other day I saw this particular flat which I wanted to buy, and it's like so many things just goes in your mind. I can just share one thing. I just shared some idea with my kids. About how we move to this particular area. Right now, just because that particular one thought has been sown in their consciousness, they just came with, Papa, how about this? And I said, that's not your lookout. You just study, you focus on this. You don't need to worry about where we have to move or this and then. I just played a trick with them. But then I could see that how mind just takes that one and boom, it just goes on. But if you are knowing that what is good for you, what you really need to focus on, and what you really don't need to focus on, so you should be able to detach from the things that you really don't need, and you really want to keep the things that you really want to pursue on. So that is what executive detachment is. Detachment doesn't mean completely detaching yourself. It's not just sitting at one place and doing nothing. Detaching means to help yourself to detach from the things that you don't need to really focus on, which your mind, as you rightly said, keep on bombarding you, creating that noise. And how discipline molds the mind.
Follow the process. Discipline gives a process. Once you follow the process, things goes well in life.
So first of all, let's define what is discipline. Continuous practice. Okay, there is one more thing also with that.
Think about getting up every day. Such a discipline that I will follow this. So mind also gets trained every day. Actually, slowly the mind starts supporting. There's some discipline which helps you to hold the mind.
Yeah. So discipline is the most important aspect. Is yes.
So discipline is also like whether you like it or not. You have to do it.
Very good. And in the discipline, the most important aspect is the other than the practice. There is one more aspect is very very important. That is consistency. And there is something called the time. We say we're gonna get up early, right? But हर एक के लिए early का definition अलग हो सकता है, right? But doesn't matter. Even if it is different, but tell yourself that I'm going to get up at 7 o'clock. I'm going to get up at 6 o'clock. Right? That is discipline. That doing the same thing at the same time, irrespective, as he rightly said, whether I like it or not. That is how the mind gets trained, because mind is going to trick you. Mind is going to tell you, boss, yesterday you slept so late. Come on, yeah, don't get up right now. Mind is going to tell you, like, today is a very important day. You got to be really focused. You have to crack this deal with the client. So better you sleep some more time. So mind is going to play all kinds of tricks with you. The only way you can revolt the mind is you say, I have taken a vow that I am going to get up at this time. Period. Nothing new. So then what happens? That mind also gets trained. अरे बाबा ये सुनता नहीं है मेरी. इसके लिए वो जो करता है मैं I will also support that. But slowly but surely you will see that how these things becomes your second nature. Right? It is said that the pain of discipline is very uncomfortable. Right? It's not comfortable as you say. But the pain of not being disciplined is what? Regret. The pain of regret is unbearable. Is unbearable. So that's why pain of discipline is uncomfortable, but it is still bearable. But the pain of regret is unbearable. Have you seen the movie? I doubt you have seen the movie, but just imagine a movie where video and audio is not in sync. Have you seen the movie like that? No. Try and find out the movie or try to do that. Okay. Maybe we can do sometime here something, right? And I may speak something and the background sound is coming something else. So what will happen? You can't make a sense out of it, right? If video, the lip is saying something and the voice is coming something else. Let's say if I'm speaking like this and पीछे से धुरंधर का गाना चल रहा है, right? It just doesn't make sense what is going on, right? People feel confused. So similarly, think about it. Your physical body is here. Is your mind here? Is your mind here? It's very, very important. So physical body and the mind, if they are in the same place, then a lot can be achieved. But if your physical body is in one place and your mind is somewhere else, बोलते हैं ना अरे भाई तू किधर है भाई तू अरे मैं इधर ही तो हूँ लगता नहीं है तू इधर है because you're thinking of something else. So what happens? You cannot focus, you cannot achieve what you want. You're completely distracted. You're completely distracted. So it is, remember this, the movie which is having a video and audio out of sync. Similarly, you're physically somewhere, mind is somewhere else. So how that disturbing it is, same way it will be disturbing. Now the another tendency of the mind is dreaming. Have you observed that? Mind dreams. Past में कितना अच्छा था यार. भोले भाले बच्चे थे हम, ना ही कुछ टेंशन था ना ही कुछ था यार, कितना अच्छा था. और बच्चों को लगता है कभी बड़ा हो जाऊं. जब भी बड़े होते तो ऐसा लगता है कि बच्चे की जिंदगी अच्छी थी, लाइक कोई टेंशन नहीं था, कोई ये नहीं था. अभी तो कितना सारा टेंशन है, ये वो EMI भरना है, वो भरना है, ये हॉलीडे पे जाना है, वो करना है, शादी करना है, so many things, रिटायरमेंट प्लान करना है. So many things, right? So what the mind does is always tells you that the past was so good, and if sometimes somebody may not have the good past, right? So what the mind says, don't worry, you have a promising future. But ultimately what mind does, it always distracts you to stay in the present. Now this is the most important point of discussion of today, and there is one more point that we'll be discussing when we get to the verse. Just think about it. You know the goal of the mind? The goal of the mind is to relentlessly distract you from accepting the gift of present. Whatever it is, you cannot accept the present as it is. It will always take you to the future or always take you to the past. But just imagine what you have is the present. क्योंकि हमको मालूम नहीं है कि next moment what is going to happen with us. And whatever happened in the past has happened. There is nothing that you can do about it. Even if it is good or bad, you can't go back and change it. What you have is the present. And the people who live in the present are the most successful people. Now, when I say successful, doesn't mean like, having the richest man or the most beautiful person or the most strong person. No. When I say the most successful means the most happiest people, because they could connect with themselves. If you can't connect with yourself, how will you connect with the world outside? We are completely disconnected. Our Shiksha Guru, Brajveri Prabhu, wrote a very beautiful book. If you get a chance, please read it. Are You Connected? Very beautiful book. People wonder, like, looking at what do you mean by are you connected? I connect on the phone, I connect on the WhatsApp, I connect on Instagram. But have you connected with yourself? People's system hangs like, what do you mean by are you connected? Are you connected with your inner world? That's very, very important. And we just miss that whole thing, it's just really unbelievable. And mind always, that's the last thing we'll discuss about the mind. So the mind always tries to see the problem in the opportunities. Just think about always कुछ ना कुछ आएगा ना आपके पास, समझो आपके पास कुछ नया प्रपोजल आया तो आपका माइंड बोलेगा रे इसमें वो प्रॉब्लम, इसमें वो प्रॉब्लम. But if you have really trained your mind well, then ideally you should be seeing the opportunities in the problem. जब भी कोविड आया, so many people said कि अरे यार क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, सब खत्म हो गया, right? But there are people who sought opportunities even in COVID, and they made a business out of it. Right? So that is how you have to see how the mind functions. So problem is we identify with the mind. That is a problem. But what we have to do, we just need to identify the mind. We don't have to identify with the mind. When you identify yourself with the mind is a problem. Please hear it very carefully. If you identify yourself with the mind is a problem. But if you identify the mind, what is the difference? You are not the... Okay, can you give an example? What is the example of identifying with the mind and what is the example of identifying the mind?
Mind बोलता है मुझे ये चाहिए, but अगर आप सेपरेट करें और बोल रहे हो कि भले ये मांग रहा है मुझे ये चाहिए but it is not good for me, तो मैं कंट्रोल करूँगा मैं कि अरे और जोड़ी है क्या you want chocolate for example, but it is not good for me, वो सेपरेट हो जाता है जो everything between.
In simple words, whatever your mind tells you, do it. That is identifying with the mind. Because whatever your mind says, you feel, I want it. Right? Mind ने बोला कि यार next time से भगवत गीता अपन ऑनलाइन ही करेंगे, अबे अच्छा हो गया अपना ऑनलाइन है ना तो अपन ऑनलाइन ही करेंगे. Right? That's your mind has told you and you accepted it. Mind ने बोला एक काम करेंगे यार अपन will just like enough हो गया यहाँ पे, अपन दूसरी जगह पे जाते हैं. तो माइंड बोलेगा कि नहीं भले आपको टाइफाइड हुआ है, यू आर सपोज टू बी बीइंग ऑन द डाइट, पर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, खा लेते हैं, खा लिया. डायबिटीज है, खा लिया. व्हाट डज इट मीन? दैट मींस यू आर आइडेंटिफाइंग विद द माइंड, बिकॉज़ व्हाटएवर माइंड टोल्ड यू, यू जस्ट डिड इट. What it means to be identify the mind? Oh, I have a diabetes and you're telling me to eat the sugar. That means what? You have differentiated yourself with yourself and the mind, but you still identify the voice of the mind, that this is what my mind is telling me. Let's say if you are doing japa, right? I ask all of you to like at least do 2 rounds, one in the morning, one in the evening, right? You are chanting that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That's the best way to identify the mind very clearly. Otherwise, rest of the time you are anyways going to be identifying with the mind. But when you're doing the japa, you will definitely see. When you do the japa, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. ये किसने बोला था मेरे को जपा करने का यार? सुबह सुबह मेरा यार कितना टाइम चला? Who is telling? Mind is, you can immediately figure out. एक 10 मिनट भी हम लोग एक जगह पे बैठ के हरे कृष्णा मंत्र जप नहीं कर सकते हैं. You can immediately identify yourself other than the mind, not with the mind. So that's why it is very, very important, my humble request, that these verses you can read again and again, because if your mind is most 99% is your enemy, only 1% is your friend. But if you read Bhagavad Gita, if you apply Bhagavad Gita to your life, if you chant the holy names of the Lord, if you follow these 5 principles of tapa, sattva, vidya, seva, and mantra meditation, if you do all these 5 things to some extent, believe me, you will be able to make your mind into a wonderful friend. And your life will not be the same. It will be much more positive and much better life. Okay, so please, my humble request that take the shelter of Bhagavad Gita to learn about mind and learn how to control the mind nicely. Okay, so we'll go to today's verse. It's quite interesting, today's verse. The verse number 8. You can repeat after me if everyone got it. Verse number 8. Chapter number 6. ज्ञान विज्ञान तृप्तात्मा कुटस्थो विजितेन्द्रिय युक्त इति उच्यते योगी समलोष्टस्मात् कांचना. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. Who wants to read the purport?
Without realization of the supreme truth is useless. This is stated as follows. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grayam Indriya Devon Mukhe Yo Vajau Vayam Eva Purataya Adaha. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality, and past tense of Sri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord are the transcendental name, form, quality, and past tense of the Lord revealed to him. This Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness. No one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. One must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who is in pure consciousness. A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by the grace of Krishna because he is satisfied with the pure devotional service. By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions, but by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled because he is surrendered to Krishna. He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculations, which may be as good as gold to others, are of no greater value than pebbles or stones.
One of the very fantastic purport of Srila Prabhupada. Right, so here, the very first line of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. I repeat, hear this very carefully. Book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. What does this mean? Sorry? Absorber and the observer. Okay, that's one of the understanding. What else? The book knowledge, I repeat again, the book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. This is stated as follows. Okay, can you example what do you mean by book knowledge? स्कूल में तो गए ना सब लोग, हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, हाँ, रट्टा मार रहा है वो.
Information without experience will be.
Information without experience. So the most amazing aspect that we see here in Bhagavad Gita is somebody, as we have discussed earlier also, you can read the entire Bhagavad Gita and still you cannot get it. You will completely miss it. So that is why it is very, very important here that Srila Prabhupada time and again talked about that mundane scholarship is not going to help you. Now we are living in the age of fast information and technology and now so many things, right? But I must tell you that if you think that I will understand Bhagavad Gita or I will realize Bhagavad Gita just like that, it's not going to happen. AI can do the job, right? Of 50 days of job in 5 minutes. Something which used to take 50 days to code or 50 days to do the software thing, or maybe some of these people are using in the legal aspect, some of these people are using into different analysis and other things where they feel like it could have taken me 50 days. Now this AI is doing in 5 minutes, right? But can AI make you realize Bhagavad Gita in 5 minutes? Yes? No? Why?
And for a shorter version, maybe, and it's to press play, you give a prompt.
We have to learn the prompt, right? The proper prompt to get the realized knowledge of Bhagavad Gita.
One can
It's like that
has
food which gets riper, then only it will fall on its own. You can't artificially make it right before its due process. So book knowledge, what I guess Prabhupada is referring to is that even if you rectify 10 times, but without to actually internalize it by realizing it, your own experience, your own setbacks, your own suffering, then only you will understand what Krishna is trying to tell you. So it's like more experience say to go through Paka Yoga, and hence I guess AI cannot make you understand what you actually understand through a proper experience yourself.
Good, very good. Yes, Madhuri, you were saying something.
I was saying that one who has Krishna can give Krishna. So if you go to a pure devotee, then you can actually get Krishna. If someone needs chocolate, but I don't have chocolate, how can I give it to the same thing? You have to go to a pure devotee or a spiritual master to seek the knowledge.
Excellent point. Excellent point. So, you know what? Why we recite this in the beginning, right? Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I've been born in the darkness, but by the mercy of my spiritual master, he has given me the eyes of knowledge by which I can see the world as it is. So no matter, you can become an expert, you may go through the experiences, everything can happen, but you will still not realize the ultimate wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. In fact, Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita and Duryodhana was also hearing. All the other soldiers were also hearing. But why only Arjuna could get it? So there are two things. First is your own endeavor that I really want to know. That is the most important thing. And the second thing is the mercy of the Lord. Through Guru, Shastra or devotees, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, anybody can give that mercy of Krishna to you. Only when this combination happens, your endeavor and the mercy of the Lord, then only you will be able to realize Bhagavad Gita. और इसके लिए आपको क्या रखना पड़ेगा? Patience रखना पड़ेगा. Patience is the amazing virtue that one must develop. One must develop. Aji, like, gutli dalo, aji, aam pao. Like, it's not going to happen. You have to really, really wait for the things to happen. And if you just leave it in between, it's gone. Even in the material world, the same thing. SB Keshav Maharaj says beautiful thing. There are many, many scientists. We see only Thomas Alva Edison who could get us a light, right? But it's not that, like, other scientists did not try it. Everyone was just 1 inch away from the success. But before that, only they gave up. That's a problem. That it doesn't work. But if you continue doing that, you will get the success. Of course, here in our case, we will get the mercy of Krishna. There's a beautiful story comes of a sparrow and a Garuda, right? Once the ocean takes the eggs of the sparrow, and the sparrow says, like, give back my eggs. क्या करेगा तू इतना छोटा सा पंछी क्या करेगा? Well, I'll dry you up. And actually, sparrow started अपने beak से वो इतना सा पानी लेके दूसरी जगह पे जाके छोड़ के आती थी. Well, I'm going to dry you up. And she continued doing that. Looking at that, the Garuda, the biggest bird, the carrier of Vishnu, became merciful on that little sister sparrow of his, right? And he came to the ocean and says, you better give back the eggs of sparrow, otherwise I will dry you off. And the carrier of Vishnu had the all power to dry up the ocean, and ocean understood that I have to give back. So what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story that the endeavor that you are sincerely trying to do attracted the mercy of Krishna. That is what we need to do. That is why I am asking you, okay, what did we study last time, right? How much you are actually going back home and, like, open up the Gita and acha, aaj kya discuss kiya? Let me just go further read it. I did not understand. I'm going to note it down and I'm going to ask this question next time. Have you actually really doing it? Because without you doing this, believe me, no matter, you can come here for next 20 years. We're going to continue this class for next 20 years. Don't worry. But the required change will not come in your life. Unless until you make an endeavor that I really, really want this knowledge, Krishna. And believe me, this Krishna consciousness is amazing. The kind of transformation that you see, the kind of, like, the miracles you're going to see is unbelievable. Okay. So now let's understand that how one can realize Bhagavad Gita. So I'll give you the first example of the difference between a Gyan and a Vijnana. Gyan means the knowledge and Vijnana means the realized knowledge. So let's say you have some packet food or something, right? You can take the packet food, you can read what it is, you can read the ingredients, you can understand everything. That is knowledge. You open it and you eat it. That is realized knowledge. It's as simple as that. No matter how much you read the packet, right? Unless until you don't taste it, you don't have a realization of how it is. That's what it is. So no matter how much you talk about Bhagavad Gita, unless until you open and read it, you may worship Dudha Agarbatti every day. Unless until you really do something about it, right? So here, the most amazing verse that is being discussed here, the next verse, Srila Prabhupada says, this is stated as follows: the difference between the realized knowledge and the book knowledge. He says, no one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality, and pastimes of Sri Krishna through his mental contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord. That's the most important word here in this verse. The transcendental service of the Lord. And I'm going to share that the most amazing story. If you hear this story and understand this story, you will realize that, wow, this is amazing way to get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Realize knowledge. Okay. So once there is a small story and there is a big story afterwards. Okay. So one small story. Okay, let's start with the big story only because I don't think so we have much time. So there was a great saint or Acharya named Ramanuja. And he had a very well-known disciple named Dasharathi. And Dasharathi is actually the nephew of Ramanujacharya. Now, this Dasharathi was so scholarly. So it is, and if I have to describe his scholarship, if Ramanujacharya is not there, then people will go to him and ask questions and learn from him. It is as powerful as that. This Dasharathi. Okay? Now, Dasharathi once comes to Ramanujacharya and tells Ramanujacharya that, hey Ramanujacharya, can you explain me the verse? It is called the Charama verse, that it is the topmost verse of Bhagavad Gita. You know what is the topmost verse of Bhagavad Gita? Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sura papebhyo moksha ishami masucha. Just surrender unto me and do not fear. I'll take care of all your sinful reactions. Just surrender unto me. That is the meaning of this verse. Right? Now, this person is coming and telling Ramanuja that I don't understand this verse. Now, he is a scholar. ऐसा नहीं है कि पहली बार भगवत गीता पढ़ रहे हैं. He has memorized Bhagavad Gita. He has practically understood Bhagavad Gita. But he's saying, I am not able to understand this verse. You know what did Ramanuja do? Ramanuja said, okay, you go to my guru. His name was no, Yamunacharya. No, I have that. So his name was, is very difficult to pronounce. I have to look into that. Tirukostiyur. His guru was Tirukostiyur. So Ramanuja had many gurus. So many Siksha gurus Ramanuja had, right? So he sent it to Tirukostiyur, is one of his gurus. So now he goes there and he says that Ramanujacharya has sent me to learn this particular verse for me. So this guru says, okay, I will explain you. So like that, how much time goes away? 6 months. And then again he's asking, he says, you know what? I'm not able to explain you. Why don't you go back to Ramanuja again and ask him? So now this person, does not say that, what the hell is going on? I waited here for 6 months, did some seva here and there, and you are now telling me that, I cannot tell you this, and you are asking me to go back. So when you read or understand or hear some episodes like this, what happens? It actually helps us to understand that how the spiritual life is so sacred. Spiritual life is not like something like, I want it now. What is this? If you were not going to explain me, you could have told me. You wasted my 6 months. Do you understand? I took the admission in my school earlier so that I can save my 1 year. So many people did that, right? To save that 1 year, got early admission into the school. I did that and you wasted my 6 months. What's going to happen to my career? Why are you playing with me? No question. He just humbly folded his hand, came back to Ramanujacharya. Now again asked to Ramanujacharya, please. Now see the desperation and see the eagerness to learn about just one verse. One verse. He's saying, Ramanuja, please help me. Utne mein, there was one of his other Shiksha Guru whose daughter has been going through a tough time. So his daughter came back home from his sasural, from her sasural. Why? Because she was not efficient in cooking and fetching water and things like that. Doing the household work. Sounds familiar? Not efficient in doing the household work. The comment getting from the Sasuma, the most efficient lady in the house, right? आपको तो कुछ आता है नहीं, आपकी माँ ने क्या सिखाया आपको, ऐसे ही भेज दिया, right? As if they are the most efficient people. Because why they do this? Because they also heard from the parampara. They heard from their Sasuma. That's why they have to continue. What is this college ragging? Is nothing but the same thing, right? My seniors ragged me, so I have to rag you. So nothing. This सासू माँ बहू के बीच में सिर्फ रैगिंग ही चलता है और कुछ नहीं होता है. It's just you get to take it as a ragging only, then you can take things lightly. So, and many a times is just see the how it's all about how you see things. Again, the mind plays a very vital role, right? The lady thinks that like घर की काम वाली बना के रख दिया मेरे को यार. What is this going on? Am I just supposed to do only this household jobs? I meant for something else. Right? How many times you feel that? But don't you think that the things of the house also needs to be taken care? That's why from that angle I like US. You know what is in US? There is no concept of maid. Everything has to be done by you only. So husband figures out that okay, I can't cook. So husband says, I will wash the vessels. I will clean the house. You cook. Right? So they distribute and things like that. So nobody feels that what am I doing is of a lower nature. But when they see that okay, this also I can contribute. You can actually learn from anybody and everybody. One of the seniors in my office, said one very nice thing. And it really stuck with me. He said, it's not about doing extraordinary things. It's all about doing ordinary things extraordinarily. That's what makes one extraordinary. Yes or no? चर्चगेट के सामने समोसा वाला है, उसने 3 बंगलो बनाया है बॉम्बे में. कैसे? He just perfected the art of only making samosa. It's a big deal. It's a very ordinary thing. But he made it so extraordinary. People waited in the line. I want his samosa only. He just perfected the art. Similarly, if you also see the things in our home and other things, it just about perception. Your mind just tells you that, oh, आप एक काम वाली बाई बन के रह गए. आप you are just become only the earning member of the house. Nobody cares for you. If you stop earning tomorrow, you're gone. It's not like it's all about how you see things, right? That's why today's title that we have given is: do you see through your eyes or do you see through your mind? Right? Generally, we see through our mind because we make perceptions about everything. Oh, this person is like this only. Even though that person is actually trying to help you, just because you have a perception, he doesn't like me or she doesn't love me or she doesn't like me or he doesn't like me. Even if that person is trying to do something good for you, just because you have made that perception, you cannot see the good in that person. So now coming back to the story. So because this lady was not efficient, so Ramanujacharya looked at Dasharathi. You know what did he say? Dasharathi, go with her to her in-laws' place as her servant. What did Dasharathi do? He is not looking at Ramanuja. What is this going on? Is enough now. 6 months I gone there and now you're telling me to go to her in-laws' place and become a menial servant? No questions asked. He goes there and he started serving. So what happened? In-laws became very happy that she got the very efficient servant. He was able to cook nicely. He was able to fetch the water also nicely. He was able to clean the house, keep the clean house nicely. All things were wonderful. She was very happy, giving the reports to Ramanujacharya that I am very happy, thank you so much. And Dasharathi continued to Yusufai. One fine day in that home, there is one saint comes and he started speaking. Now, of course, satsang chal raha hai and he was speaking, and the way he was explaining the aspect of Vishnu was quite impersonal. And if you see Sri Vaishnavas and others, they believe in a lot of personal aspect of the Lord. They look at in the reciprocation. You can't just look at the Lord as a big light and this. What are you going to reciprocate with the light? Right? You can't reciprocate with the light and other things. And he was describing the whole impersonal aspect, and he was proving that the highest perfection is to realize this impersonal aspect of the Lord. And he said, that is not correct. The highest bhakti or the highest thing is to realize the personal aspect of the Lord. So he came out from his kitchen and very humbly putting his argument in front of this saint, saying that, my dear sir, what you are saying is not aligned with our Shastras. And this person was outraged. He said, who are you? You are just a mere cook in the home. What do you know about the Shastras? And what right do you have to come and argue with me? You are a useless fellow. Go back and start cooking. Don't unnecessarily interfere in the higher aspect of the life. Just cook. That is what your job is. What did Dasharathi do? Dasharathi did not say, I'm going to show you who I am and this and that. No. So he again humbly folded his hand. He says, I am nobody. I'm a very simple person. But this is what I have learned from my guru. And I was just trying to make everyone understand that ultimately Vishnu has the form and you can reciprocate, and he reciprocates with his devotees. And the way he explained those whole thing, this person realizes his mistake, the saint who was in the home, and he was asking, who are you? You cannot be an ordinary cook. You must be someone else. Please tell us, who are you? And that is where he actually reveals himself, saying that I am Ramanuja's servant. And as soon as he tells his name, everyone was aghast because Dasharathi was so famous. They have not seen him because, like, in those days, there was no YouTube and other things. They have heard the name, right? And who Dasharathi is. When they hear that, they were like, amazed. And they fell at the feet. And all these in-laws, right? They realized their mistake, saying that, like, we were getting things done from such a great scholar, such a great saint in our home. Please forgive us. We did an offense. Now we'll not harass this, our daughter-in-law will make her very nice and everything. And then the whole thing stopped there. And they asked Dasharathi, please go back to your guru. We are very, very embarrassed, but please forgive us. And that is how Dasharathi comes back to his guru. And then Dasharathi asks, may I know the meaning of the verse Sarva Dharman Parityajya? And then the Ramanujacharya initiates him. Of course, he was initiated, but he further initiates him as let me say the exact thing. It's quite interesting what he is being called out as. It's very sweet, it's a way things have been called out. Just 1 second. So it was called Vaishnava Dasar. That means a servant of the Vaishnavas. And what does that mean? He completely realized this particular verse. Why? Because what it means to surrender is not just physical things, surrendering your own ego, surrendering your own position, surrendering your pride. So what it took for Dasharathi to understand one verse or to realize one verse of Bhagavad Gita, how much it took, the price that he had to pay, and he was ready to pay the price. That is what I was saying in the beginning, that what we are getting and what we are trying to understand is way, way, way beyond than any one of our capacity. But Krishna is so merciful that he will give us these realizations. Only thing we required is our seriousness, our sincerity, and no ulterior motives. If you are sincere and serious, Krishna will reveal. Krishna will reveal. So that's a beautiful story. And there is another story that comes is of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's a fast forward thing, I'll just tell. So one professor who comes and trying to understand one particular verse, and he wanted to meet Saraswati Thakur, who is the guru of Srila Prabhupada. But somehow or other he was not having time and things like that. So what happened? In the meantime, the disciples of Saraswati Thakur engaged this professor into vessel washing, the vessel cleaning, vessel cleaning. Like, the bartan saaf karne mein usko lagate hain. So, he was such a nice person. He said, okay, I will serve, because, anyways, all of you are also very scholarly and you do this seva for the Lord. So I will also do it. So for 1 week, he gisified the bartan. And after that, devotees reminded, I think Siddhartha Swami Thakur has come back from his trip. You may go and ask that question. You know what did he say? My question is already answered. Now I understand that particular. So when you actually do seva with a genuine heart, that knowledge will be realized. Knowledge will not be just realized by just reading. You need to serve also at the same time. That is what it is being mentioned here. You can understand the name, form, qualities, pastimes of the Lord only when you perform the devotional service. That's why Srila Prabhupada translated bhakti as devotional service. Many people, if you go in outside world, you know what they translate bhakti as? Devotion, only devotion. But Srila Prabhupada always translated bhakti as devotional service. Very, very important. And when you perform this devotional service, believe me, amazing realizations comes. So my humble request, please keep coming to Bhagavad Gita. It's not that I want you to hear from me. What is most important thing is Srila Prabhupada is speaking to all of us because we are trying to go deeper in his purports. We are trying to find the amazing pearls of his purport and learn from it and apply in our life. So if you just remember this episode of Dasharathi, you will be so humble enough to face any situation in your life. Right? Just one verse to learn, he could pay such a high price. Right? So can we not just to learn Bhagavad Gita? Can we not just come from where we are, just walking or coming by a rickshaw or in our own vehicle or things like that? It will hardly take some time. That's the price we have to pay. Right? We are not asking you to go and become a servant in somebody's place. Right? Just come and hear in the association of the devotees, discuss in the association of the devotees, and believe me, it will do wonder in your life. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, any questions or comments from anybody? If we have anybody on the Zoom also, if anybody has any questions, you can just take it now. That's fine. So, if anybody has any questions or anything, you can take, or any comments are also most welcome. Anyone would like to share? Oshan Prabhu, Lalit Prabhu, Varun Prem Prabhu, anyone would like to share anything? Please do. Is it okay the way we are discussing, or you feel like it is going to stretch or anything? We are always ready to learn from you as well. If you find that anything to be changed, then you can definitely go with that.